I has got feet. I got feet. Welcome back to the shop on the channel. Next step, building the chop saw base that's going to sit right here on this side, the right side of the bench, with the adjustable feet. Show you in a minute, so it can meet the plane here. First thing I had to do is I had to move this outlet from here to here, because this outlet's going to wind up inside the dust collector box for the chop saw. Don't need that, so I moved it 10 inches to the left, and basically just took 10 inches out of the conduit, pulled it off the wall, put it here, and turned it from a dual to a quad. So this is a 420 amp. This outlet here is obviously going to run the chop saw, and if it has independent dust collection system, it'll run that independent dust collection system as well. So I built the base, off camera of course. This is the 2x4 base. It has the feet with the adjustment, and you see there's a lip on the foot that it grabs the wood so it won't slide off, and it has 4 screws holding it in place. And this is what it looks like. So this is it. It's got that lip where the wood sits, whatever you're putting it on. The leg screws down, and up, and is screwed in with a 5mm hex key that came with it, and I'm going to throw that away because I have a 5mm ball hex key about that long, goes on a ratchet wrench and makes life a lot easier. The base of the will have a hole right here where I can get to the adjustment. The wood came from the big box Borg, and it was a little bowed, but then again, isn't it always bowed, the supply wood? And look at this picture. I've got it sitting on the sawhorse between a point at either end, and my 65-pound anvil sitting on top of it, and that's helping to straighten it out a little bit as it equilibrates to the shop. It's almost there. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I want to get some of the bow, or much of the bow out as I possibly can. Now, one other thing. When I moved this, I didn't use wire nuts. I started using these WAGO clip connectors for electrical work. They meet code. They're sold on Amazon and through their website as well. I'll find a video on YouTube, gives a good description of how these are used, and put it in the description. Probably from Everyday Home Repairs, because he has a good little treatise on using these connectors. Next step is to cut the wood, do the pocket holes. I'll do a little bit of treatise on proper pocket holes for something like this, and build the box, put it in place. Let's get started. Before we get started with the inevitable time lapse and then the cutting and then the assembly of the box for the chop saw, I want to talk a little bit about the track saw I have. Now, I bought this about 25 years ago at a woodworking show when track saws were kind of a new thing, but not quite as prevalent as they are now. I am actually going to replace this system with a battery-powered system in my quest to get off of AC power and power cords. So what it came with is 2 tracks that can be connected together, and I'll show you in a minute how. The track is symmetrical, so essentially the saw can run on either side of the track. It came with a square for using one against a piece of wood so you can square up your workpiece. It came with 2 clamps for clamping it down to the workpiece. And it came with an adapter system that was a little finicky to adjust that fits onto your circular saw. And I actually bought this circular saw specifically for the track saw. Where is it? Where are they? Here we go. Yeah, there's 2 bars that fit into the lower underneath the track that with set screws that you can extend this out, and it clamps the two tracks together. If I can find the company, if they're still in business, if I can find the company, I'll put a link in the description. If they're still in business, I'm sure they have these, but probably have upgraded versions of it. I'm probably going to go with, since everything here is 18-volt Ryobi, I'll probably go with the Ryobi track saw. It gets really good reviews. Initially, it was hard to get more tracks for it, but now they're available. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll sell this system. because I've got a battery-powered circular saw, so I really don't need this honking big-ass porta cable. So now one more thing. So, unlike most guys and girls on YouTube, I use AutoCAD. I've got an AutoCAD 2000 running on a virtual XP machine on my Windows 10 box, because it won't run anything beyond XP. I have Fusion 360 installed, the free Maker's version. I just haven't taken the time to go up that learning curve to learn how to use Fusion 360. So I do all my drawings in AutoCAD, and I use a program that some of you may already know about called Cutlist Plus. What that does, it draws me up nice little pictures of my cut list and where the cuts need to be and how to do it. This obviously, if you can see, is a 4x8 sheet of plywood, which I had cut in half at the Borg, at the Home Depot. So with that said, an introduction to this soon-to-be no more track saw system, let's make some cuts and build the box. With that, the parts are cut out, laying over here. The floor of the cabinet is attached to the base. The holes are in place, so I can make the adjustments. The next thing is to cut the pocket holes for the sides and put the back and the sides in place to square everything up. At that point, I'm going to put it on the floor over here so I can measure where I need the cleats to hold the platform that's going to hold the chop saw. That's going to be a little bit below the level of the bench here, so I can come up to it, because you can't drill holes in the floor to go down. So I want to go up to the bench with the adjustments. So let's drill some pocket holes. Before I start drilling the pocket holes, that little treatise I was talking about on pocket holes. Note, this is my interface. Plywood this way and the plywood in the bottom, and this is the side and this is the bottom. Now what you don't want to do is put your pocket holes in from the inside. You see what's going on there? You got very little wood over here for it to bite into, and it'll blow out without any hesitation if you bang into it or whatever before you get everything assembled. What you want to do is you want to have your pocket holes from the outside going in, so it's into more solid material here, less of a chance of it blowing out. So with that, let's drill some pocket holes. That's all the pocket holes I need to fasten the sides to the bottom, and then I will be fastening the back to the sides to make sure that all my measurements are square, plumb, and all that kind of stuff. And at that point, the follow-on, do this, make sure I get the platform for the chop saw right and in place, and then we can put the chop saw there. Shouldn't take very much longer to get that done. Oh, I've got a video of me building this base for my my armor pocket hole jig. And it fits as it should. Next trick is to use the leveling feet to bring this table to level and straight and square with the workbench. Now, this gives me 6.5 or 6 inches here on the bench to hold my workpieces. I mean, I can cut up to 8 inches wide and it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. So that's that. I'll level this, fasten it to the wall in such a way that, just so I can take it off. I need to re-level things at some point. I will let this settle for about half a day and make sure it's going to be where it is. It's going to stay where it is. I have room for my cabinet, which will go behind it to collect the sawdust. And so we're going to end this video here. And for my next trick, I'm going to build this cabinet over here for the hardware that has all the pull-out cubbies for hardware. Now, I'm sharing this video series on the French cleat group on Facebook. I know it's about French cleats, but I'm not there yet. I will get to the French cleats eventually. But right now, I'm going to get this wall done. Then I can take that part, clean out over here, take this wall apart, and move on from there. So until next time, make great things out of wood.